going to stand down. Perfect timing.
Right into him.
Welcome to the Game Day Huddle. And this week you got myself, Twix for Steve. Jay up is here, and
Introducing
Warehouse Boys, the Warden. Dave's in the building, hanging out with us. Jimmy has the week off. Jimmy should just take the rest of the year off.
How does Jimmy get days off?
It's very easy. It's very easy.
Needs them.
He hires people.
He needs days off.
He hires people to do work for him, and then he just, doesn't have to be there. It's pretty funny.
If the Yankees were still in the playoffs, he might still be here.
It's pretty funny. So I didn't fire off Facebook, so Facebook just went live. So they're going to miss our intro. So it's all right. Steve, Dave, and Jay, we're here. Jimmy off today. Rookie move. Anyways, guys, thank you for being here. Game Day Huddle. We come to you each and every Monday, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, right here on YouTube and on our Facebook group. Thank you guys for hanging out with us today. So, guys, we're going to get into it a little bit before we do. Last chance this week. Send your stuff, guys, to Blue Breaks Sports Cards in Venice, Florida. Help them have an incredible trade night and bring back some smiles to the faces of those people that were affected by Hurricane Ian. Just a nice way for us as a community to bond together. So make sure you ship your stuff out. Get it out this week. Thank you to Hit Parade. Thank you, Burbank Sports Cards and Ludex for your guys' extended support on it. Also, thank you to the National and Beckett Summit. You guys, get your stuff sent on over. Be great if you guys could. Be part of it. It's a lot of fun to be able to do this. And, guys, I can't imagine what the faces on his trade night are going to be when they walk in and there's stuff from all over the United States being given away for free. He's going to have more stuff than he has people to give it away to. I already know that's going to happen.
Good.
It's incredible. It's incredible to see our community come together. And, appreciate you guys. So if you can be part of it, send something in. If you guys need the information on it, send us a message. We will get it to you. Their trade night is a week from this Saturday. So they got about 12 days left. So if you get your stuff out this week, they should receive it. All right, we got some breaking news coming in right before we went live today. Roquan Smith is now a Raven. How do the Ravens keep adding, I mean, do we want to call Roquan Smith an all-time great? Not yet.
No, he's still too young for that.
He's that type of player that has that potential. How do they defensively always amass these guys?
Well, that's the thing. They want to key on their defense, right? They want that defensive presence because, their offense is good, but their offense hasn't gotten them over the top. They haven't gotten over the hump yet with that offense they have, so they need that defense because they know defense wins championships. That's how they won, or that's how they went to the Super Bowl a few years back with Trent Dilfer when they played the Giants in the Super Bowl. So, defense wins championships, and Lamar Jackson's a good quarterback. They still have him on his rookie deal. So the window is getting smaller and smaller because he obviously wants that extension. So you got to go beef up your defense. Otherwise, you're not going to compete with these teams like Buffalo and Kansas City. You're not going to compete with them.
Right. So, I mean, what do you think this in reality is? Is it enough for this team to kind of hedge their defense to be that much tighter? Is this one piece going to take a little pressure off those DBs?
Yeah, it'll do that, but it's not going to put them over the top. They're still not going to be in the same breath as Kansas City or Buffalo.
What defensively?
Just as a team.
Oh,
this
I think
is
Kansas City's defense is not even that good. I mean, I think
it's
Ravens
not.
is way better.
It's not, but the Kansas City outscores people.
That's true. They use
Baltimore's
their offense
not
going
to
to
outscore people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm looking at here. You got Patrick Queen. You got Malik Harrison. I mean, their linebackers are going to be stacked now.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. But they can put Roquan Smith on the outside like they do with anybody.
I think that's the intentions. I think that you might actually see his sacks go up.
Because he doesn't have to play middle linebacker.
Yeah, I think this move is going to be that they're going to rotate them depending on what side they want to come from.
Yeah.
They're going to rotate them on
it's
blitz
more speed.
packages
You
and stuff,
can't
and it's
go
going to
wrong.
be... It's pretty crazy. So, let's get into the NFL weekend. This is our over-under. What are we overwhelmed with? What underwhelmed us from the NFL weekend? We'll get into it. We'll just get right away. And
let's go for it.
First thing I want to talk about, I saw this and I had to show it. This is from the Bills Twitter account. This is really what it's come to. Aaron Rodgers walked into the Giants facility. Yeah. He climbed the beanstalk and still wasn't big enough. To think that 3 or 4 years ago, that poster. Now, I'm not saying Josh Allen, but just like take a high level quarterback.
What was that poster made?
Just this week.
That was on Bill's Twitter, yeah.
You would have had Aaron Rodgers standing where Josh Allen's standing.
Right.
That's the first time that I've saw something where they're kind of putting out there like, look, he's better than Aaron Rodgers.
At this point.
Right, but this is the first time we're seeing it,
yes.
right? You always see Brady stand alone. You don't ever see any of that stuff. You don't see it. But with Aaron Rodgers. Now, first half, Bills do what the Bills do.
Mm-hmm.
They look like a machine. Whenever they're scripted and prepared, they look really, really good on offense.
Yeah.
And then in the second half, what did they do? Kick a field goal?
I think that, the second half, they usually play so well in the first half, they kind of just coast, in my opinion, in the second half. And Josh Allen did have 2 interceptions, but one of them was on a pass he was just trying to throw away. Like there was nothing there. He tried to basically just throw it into the ground, and Green Bay's defense made a good pick on that. Right on the goal line, too.
Right.
So, you knew Green Bay was going to be in trouble at that point. But that would have been another field goal, too, attempt in that. But, I mean, they coast. They coast in the second half because they're so far ahead.
They can't run the ball. That's what it is. Josh Allen's the best running back. They can't run the ball. So when you're up a lot, what do? Run the ball. If you can't run the ball, you can't get first downs. Who gets the ball? The other team. They come back, make it a closer game.
Yeah.
Now, is Singletary not that good?
I think the offensive line is really not that good. I think Josh Allen makes the team offense better, the offensive line better.
Yes. I think they're not a good run-blocking team.
Correct.
So then, going just off the conversation we just had, you just had a defense booster up where they can move someone to blitz and put another guy in there. To me, that's the move for them to try to beat the Bills, right? That's the move to try to beat the Bills.
Right now, the teams in the AFC are making moves to try to beat the Bills, just like the teams in the NFC are trying to make moves to beat the Eagles, which are the clear favorite in the NFC.
Right.
Which is why you saw San Francisco go out and go get Christian McCaffery, which we've all talked about many times.
Yeah.
San Fran has always been that team where they don't care who the hell the running back is. They're like, give me this guy off the street. I'll make him a stud. Jeff Wilson, okay, good. Raheem Mostert, okay, got it. Yeah. This guy, we'll do that too. So they don't care. And then they go out and make a splash by going and getting Christian McCaffrey. Like, they're obviously trying to make moves so they can stay up there and try and compete with the Eagles. So you're going to see teams do this. I just don't personally think that is a big enough move to overtake.
But it tells me that was their intention. So their intentions were... The Roquan Smith deal was to counteract. So now if you're the Bills, I guess your play is you got to try to secure a running back, or do you need another lineman?
I don't know. Did you hear about this? That they actually were trying to make a deal. They almost had a deal in place to get Alvin Kamara with the Saints. The Bills did, and the Saints shot it down. The Saints shot down the deal. They didn't want to give up Alvin Kamara. And I was thinking in my head, like, why would you not want to, knowing that you're not competing this year? Right. And then next year, you don't know what you're getting. He could get suspended. He could go to prison. Like, you don't know what you're getting.
Right. So it's definitely a
why
rental.
Wouldn't you cash in and let the Buffalo Bills take on that issue? I didn't see what the offer was, no. But the Saints turned it down, so it didn't matter anyways. But can you imagine putting Alvin Kamara on the Bills this year in that offense? Because the dude can catch also.
He's a bigger back, and he's going to break those tackles. I watched the Bills run, and you're like, oh, man, they can't even... they're getting like 3-4 yards, not even. It's really bad to watch the Bills run the ball.
This is the one knock I have with them because their defense is good, but it does get tired. Their defense does get tired. They got a lot of big bodies.
Yeah.
Right? So guys, they do get tired a little bit, which is why the offense being on the field really helps their defense out. If they're throwing it so much and they're scoring quickly, the defense is on the field longer. My point is that you let some of these teams hang around that shouldn't. And I'll immediately talk about the Bengals, right? Or one of those teams playing tonight.
Right.
That's a team that if you let them hang around, they can run up a bunch of points in a real short period of time.
Yeah.
We know the Chiefs can do that. I know the Chargers can do that, right? So if I'm the Bills, that's got to be a definite concern. I think that it's probably more important for them to try to get something done now. We all we sat in this room and we all thought the Bills would be the representative for the AFC in the Super Bowl. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not as confident today as I was at the beginning of the season when we said that, because I thought their running game was going to be better this year, and it's not.
Who would you replace them with then?
Probably the Chiefs, just because they're always consistent.
What do the Chiefs do the same as the Bills? How's the Chiefs running game?
Yeah, but the Chiefs running game's in screens.
But it's non-existent.
But theirs is in screens, and they control the clock with the screen game.
I understand.
The Bills try to do that, but they're not. I feel like the offensive line for the Chiefs is a little bit better than the offensive line for the Bills.
The Chiefs are 23rd in rushing.
Right?
The Chiefs are 23rd in rushing, and the reason why I bring that up is because.
But I'll bet you if we
they're very similar.
If we ran those screen numbers, I'll bet you, we haven't done it yet, but if we ran those screen numbers and found out what those screen numbers are, I'll bet you the Chiefs
so you're saying they're using more short passes for their run game
per game as their running game, because that's why you got guys like McCole Hardman, and you got these running backs that can flank out and you can run a wheel play on or something like that.
So you're saying just screenplays to the running backs or screenplays in general?
I mean, let's go screenplays to the running backs, or even I think they're going to run it to the slot too, right?
Because I feel like they use Stephon Diggs that same way in Buffalo. They use him for a lot of short passes.
They do, but
and then they'll come over the top with him
not as
sometimes.
much. And the problem is that he's double teamed.
Right.
Your screen game's got to go to somebody who's not being double teamed. Because if he's being double teamed, that means there's always one other guy to get him.
Well, that's why Gabe Davis has kind of.
Right.
I mean, he's been up and down. Gabe Davis has had really big games. He's had really small games, but
he's been banged up.
Yeah, and right now the Buffalo Bills defense is banged up. Like Poyer got hurt again last night, and there was somebody else that came out.
But also they're on the field somewhere.
Yeah, they're on the field and they're banged up now on the defense. I still don't think they're going to get overtaken, because even if they have a little bit of a slide, those guys will be healthy, come playoff time.
Well, and again, it's more of a thing of, I think it's gotten closer.
Yeah.
Than it was to me at the beginning of the season. Now that could change in the next 5 days.
The Bills were up that much, and they only ran the ball 27 times all game.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah, they don't do it. So
they couldn't stop the run.
On the flip side of the flip side of the game,
at Aaron Jones went
you got Aaron Rodgers over there.
Yep.
Aaron got the offense going in the second half a little bit. They're moving the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
Definitely looked like they changed their game plan.
Yeah.
There
was a point, though. It was like early in the fourth quarter where he'd only thrown the ball like 12 times.
Yeah.
Because he has nobody to throw to. Like he's throwing to guys that are late round picks. Like his number one is Romeo Doubs right now.
Yeah.
Christian Watson had a concussion. He can't stay on the field yet this year. And then they're throwing to Samori Toure because they don't want to throw to Amari Rodgers, because that's who Aaron Rodgers was talking trash about on Twitter the other day.
What Sammy
Watkins was hurt.
He was hurt.
Robert Tonyan's their tight end. So
I think
they don't have a whole lot of weapons.
That didn't help anybody, that trade for the Raiders or the Packers. That might have been.
Yeah, losing Devontae Adams was huge.
Devontae Adams was just the worst.
And the Raiders aren't using him the right way, so you might as well get back to Green Bay.
Yeah, I think the situation here is, and I think the easiest thing to say is
redo.
I think Green Bay needs to sell.
Yeah.
Now, there's this long shot rumor. It's a long shot rumor that's out there that there was an offer. It's not confirmed, of an Aaron Rodgers for Garoppolo before this weekend. Deal, some swaps, and Brandon Ayuk as part of the deal going back to Green Bay. Rodgers coming over. I was kind of I don't know if that's a talked up thing or what it was. I saw it in two different places, though, which usually, as we've talked about on here, if there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
We may 3 weeks from now hear about this potential deal that fell apart. My thought is purely this. Green Bay's got to find a way to actually move some players.
Yeah.
Or some picks. Or they're going to have to move some players to acquire some picks and reboot. And if that's the case, then keeping Aaron Rodgers for the rest of this season, I don't know that it has any value for him.
But how do they not make any moves so far to get a receiver for Aaron Rodgers? Anytime with the trade deadline coming up. They do this every year with the receivers. It's been like this for years. They waste draft picks. They do just the most nonsense I've ever seen.
At this point, though, are they sellers or are they buyers? At this
they
point,
have to buy.
They're 3 and 5.
Paying him a ton of money.
3 and 5. I mean, and now you're losing ground every week on Minnesota, who I think is 7-1 or 6-1. Like, so you're just losing ground more and more every week.
When you just trade Aaron Rodgers, you have to figure it out.
I agree, but
either trade Aaron Rodgers, or we go and try to maybe salvage the rest of the season and get in the playoffs.
So they need to make a choice where they're going to be buyers or sellers.
There's a lot
and
of
they basically have
receivers.
one day.
How many receivers can they probably get for 4th, 5th, 6th round picks? They probably get something. There's got to be receivers out there.
I mean, there at this point, I would think that maybe there is, and if there's receivers that are out there, maybe it's a team like the Texans giving up a veteran that they have on their roster, Brandon Cooks, right?
There you go.
Or something like that. That's the type of.
Even the Chiefs went and got Kadarius Toney. Like the Packers do.
Yeah,
nothing.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of who has receivers to move because Carolina moved the guys they were going to move. They're not getting rid of any of their receivers. There might be a tight end or two out on the market, and I don't know if that really is going to help them.
You know who has receivers that don't want to play there is the Jets.
Well, Elijah Moore doesn't want to be there, so maybe that's the guy.
Neither does Denzel Mims. All the receivers don't want to be there except for Garrett Wilson. I'm sure he'll be happy next year.
Yeah, that's going to be happy next year. Michael Scott Cohen.
You're new here.
Yeah, Michael Scott Cohen.
Give it a year.
Hashtag fire Matt Patricia.
Nice. Michael Scott?
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
That's
fire
like
Matt
office,
Patricia? Let it go?
Fire Matt Patricia?
Yeah.
I still want to see Nathaniel Hackett get fired. I mean, I thought he'd be first too, but I mean, they're going to give him a year, aren't they?
I really thought
it's too easy to fire the head coach now.
Hackett should have been gone.
Not that many teams fire in the middle of the season. That's the thing. Not that many.
It's usually like the last couple of weeks of the season, then you start seeing it drop.
And it's
like the Monday. What do they call it?
Black Monday.
Yeah, there you go.
It's
right after week 18 now.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Well, yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. Coach. I don't know if anybody else is going to get fired mid-season.
I don't know. And I think a couple guys saved their jobs by making moves that they did.
Yeah.
Another thing we should talk about really quick is the Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi situation. They won this week despite Mac Jones. If you didn't watch the game, you would just be like, Mac Jones came in and they won. They did a great job. No, he didn't look good.
Their defense
he threw an interception. He threw a pick.
Yeah.
He threw a bad interception.
One was tipped.
Right?
Yeah, it's not looking good.
He shouldn't even have been looking that way.
Again, he has no weapons either, really. I mean, their run game is really good. They've always had that. They got two good running backs, good offensive line.
Right?
Yeah, and they got a good defense, so there's your formula. But their receivers are...
Yeah. And Devontae Parker got hurt on the first play of the game.
Yeah, so they had to lose
Someone
him.
rolled up on his ankle. He's out for the rest of the game, so that was one of their guys.
You need receivers. I don't care how good your quarterback is. Look at Aaron Rodgers. Arguably one of the best arms you've ever seen throw a ball, but you don't have a receiver. Guys can't get separation. Doesn't matter.
He needs good receivers like they do in Tampa Bay.
Or
yeah.
Well, vice versa. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But let's talk about just staying real quick with quarterback situations of guys. Malik Willis.
Yeah.
First start this week, 56 yards passing.
Right.
Well, you had Derrick Henry run for.
Derrick Henry went for 219 or something like that.
Right.
I get it. Like, that should be a run-first offense, and it's a lot more scary and a lot more dynamic with him at quarterback than Ryan Tannehill. Is Tannehill done this year, or does he get the job back when he's healthy?
Tannehill 100% gets the job back.
I agree.
100% gets the job back because that division.
How long is he out for? Do we know?
He was questionable this week, so I think it's a week-to-week
thing. It's a week-to-week thing, so they can put him on. Yeah, he'll be back.
I think he's a couple weeks.
Yeah,
I think you'll see another start from Malik Willis.
It didn't look pretty. He reminded me of Justin Fields in his first year.
Well, when you have 10 attempts.
Because they don't want him to throw the ball. That's why.
Well, and he looked to me, and I just watched a little bit. I didn't get to watch much of it, but the stuff I saw, it looked to me like he was rushed with everything. Like when he would go to the huddle, you know how like you'll watch like some of the really great quarterbacks?
Yeah.
And they just got this nice, calm, cool, and they look and they're like, da-da-da-da. And he's like, you can see his body mannerisms are just like, the guy's on fire. That's never going to help.
I mean, he came from Liberty, which is not what I would call like a really big school. So he's already got a little bit of growing to do from that, and then he's only been sitting behind Tannehill for 7 weeks now, 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What I saw of him yesterday, it didn't like jump out at me like, man, this guy's gonna be really good. And I didn't need him to throw for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. No. I just needed to see something, and I didn't really see anything. So I feel like it's gonna be like a Justin Fields light, to where you're constantly waiting, and the only time he's gonna get you fantasy points is when he uses his legs, and he can get you a win. because they're not going to let him make those mistakes. Like they don't want to throw the ball that much. Like he's like Jimmy Garoppolo, but half of what Jimmy Garoppolo is right now. Like, hey, can you go out and just like run a little bit and barely throw it if you have to, but don't throw over 5 yards. Keep it nice and short, and it's like, and we're gonna let Derrick Henry do the rest.
Don't throw it over 5 yards. Yeah, we'll see. We obviously none of us are thrilled with this quarterback class this year. I stand here and say, and I think Sam Howell is going to be the guy that's going to jump out,
and he's going to take that job. He's going to run with the rest of the year.
Taylor Heineke.
I don't care if Carson Wentz comes back.
Taylor Heineke looked good. It looked like he could command the offense. He did the things that we talked about.
Looks like he has fun too.
He did it last year. He did the same thing.
Here's what's going to happen though: is that at the end of the year, Taylor Heineke is going to want out.
Yeah, of course.
He's going to be ticked. So it'll be Sam Howell's team moving forward. That receiving core is very good on the Commanders. Yeah. Now talk about a team that's deep at receiver. They're 4 deep, maybe 5. Mm-hmm. They've got guys that can really go get it, that create separation and get themselves open. So that's going to make any quarterback better.
Yeah. The NFC East is back, baby.
Yeah, it is. It is.
The NFC East, not anymore.
We have 4 teams in the playoffs.
Your Cowboys. Cowboys for you guys. I'm sure both of you guys are ready to celebrate.
Not really. I mean,
no, because I think David and I are more realistic than anything else. Like I know a lot of Cowboys fans are very unrealistic, and I hate when people when Cowboys saying, "Oh, this is our year." I don't like that. We beat the Bears, yay! Like we beat the Chicago Bears at home. And our defense gave up way more points than they should have. They've been playing great up to this point, and it was nice to see Dak have a decent game and not make a bunch of mistakes like he has been.
Right.
But we beat the Bears. Like
we were here watching the game, and before the half, it's like 40 seconds ago, and Dak throws an interception across the middle. I just started losing my mind. I was like, he still does dumb stuff. That's the stuff that bothers me. That's why I can't say they're so
What
good.
is such a big deal about that in that moment is. So they were up. What were they up then? Was it 17?
It was 28-7, I think. I think it was 28-7, and they scored.
Right, so they're up 21.
So they kick off. Dallas has the ball. It's 40 seconds ago.
Yeah.
He throws a pass across the middle, like 20 yards. It wasn't even close. He gets intercepted. Bears get a field goal and get the ball to start the half.
Right.
They didn't score right away. They stopped each other. Then it was 28-25.
Well, and the Bears had just scored, right?
Yeah, it was 20.
The Bears had just scored. Then he throws the pick.
Yeah.
So it was a chance for a 3-score swing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And against the Bears, you're going to get away with that. Another team,
no,
you're not getting away with that.
So the Bears even scored. They scored. Field goal. Scored. 28-25.
Jimmy would like to remind you guys that the Cowboys will win the Super Bowl.
Of course he does.
Jimmy, he can't jinx the way we can.
Let's mention. Hey, listen, look.
It's not.
We mentioned how good the Giants were playing last week. We mentioned how good they had been. We mentioned all the great things that we'd seen happen.
Yeah.
And then they played this week.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened?
What was the final score of that game, by the way?
It was a lot. It was closer.
27-13.
Yeah, they lost to the Seahawks. They lost to Geno Smith and the Seahawks.
They did, like everyone else, like my Chargers. What the thing is that I don't know. The Giants didn't play great, and I didn't watch the whole game, so I didn't get to see it.
They didn't even play good at all.
I'm saying is they didn't play great, but is that the Seahawks? Like, are they able to make teams play bad?
The Seahawks have given up the most yards to running backs. They're 32nd in run defense.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, damn, Saquon Barkley's going to go off. No, he didn't. Like, it was almost like non-existent. What has he got there? 52 yards?
53
yards rushing. Like, against a team it was a close game for most of the game, too. So Barkley should have been involved all the way up to the very end. And the Giants haven't given up in any of their games. They laid an egg. I mean, it was a complete dud for them. It was a chance for them to
the NFC East went 3-4.
Now they dropped to third place because Cowboys won the tiebreaker over them because they beat them. So now they dropped from second to third, and they could have beat that team.
And that was in New Jersey.
Yeah.
That game was at home.
No, it was in Seattle.
No, it was in Seattle. It was in Seattle.
It was in Seattle?
Yeah, they had to travel all across. Home. No, they had to travel all across. That's why when it was close at half, I was like, man, they might actually win this game. I didn't realize.
You're right. It was in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
I mean, Seattle's actually leading the West.
Are terrible. Well, Seattle is, and I wanted to bring that up before we talked about the next
5-3.
step.
This is nuts. I'm just looking at it now. I didn't even realize that. That's
leading the West, I think it's safe to say the Cardinals are a dumpster fire. That's not working.
But they're putting up points, which I love.
Well, because they got garbage time. It's great in fantasy, but it's
I would love to see everybody after Week 8 who they thought was leading each division.
Yeah.
You have the Eagles, Seahawks, Vikings, Falcons.
Yeah.
in the NFC South.
Yeah, that's
there. You go.
Damn, that means that New Orleans is only a game out of first place.
Yeah,
hell yeah,
yeah, hell yeah. Guys, prediction.
It's back on, baby.
Super Bowl. There you go.
It's back on.
So in the West, so you've got the Rams, which
suck. Go ahead.
The score
really
of the
bad.
Rams and Niners game was a lot closer than how the game played.
I don't know. I don't know if just losing Von Miller is that big of a difference maker, but the Rams suck. Like I am not afraid of the Rams
they
whatsoever.
didn't just lose. They didn't
I thought
just lose
people
him.
wanted
Though.
Bobby
They also
Wagner.
lost Odell Beckham. They did pick up Bobby Wagner, but
Bobby Wagner, nobody really. I thought he was better than what I'm looking at, and I do IDP leagues.
He's almost non-existent.
Yeah,
right?
It's like he's
Bobby Wagner's addition would have been great if Von Miller was there, but when Von Miller didn't stay, the Bobby Wagner addition didn't matter.
They have Aaron Donald still, though.
I know, but when you have
They're
two
secondary.
pass rushers, you
Jalen
know
Ramsey's
this,
not
right?
good at covering. I don't care what
It's
anybody
the same with the Chargers right now, right? The Chargers have both rushers healthy. Their defense is really good because it helps take that pressure off the middle of the field, right? And in this case, because then they got to look for quick passes out, right? So it takes that off. My point is, the Rams are a lot worse, and this is what you're saying. I'm agreeing with you. The Rams are a lot worse of a team than I think we even thought they were at the beginning of the year when they first struggled out the gate.
Yeah.
They're that much worse of a team. And they added James Robinson, but James Robinson is not Odell Beckham.
No, Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson. Sorry, Allen Robinson. Right? He's not. Robinson is not Odell Beckham.
But Allen Robinson is still pretty damn good. Like he had some good seasons with some really bad quarterbacks. So he's putting up good yards with Blake Bortles.
But he was putting up big yards with
Justin
teams
Fields
that were playing in garbage time.
But they don't even throw to him.
I know.
Stafford doesn't even throw to
should
him.
be used inside the 20.
Correct.
He should be used. Somebody, he's big body. They forced him the ball. Still couldn't do it. And then I remember it was like they switched fields, like the first quarter going to second quarter, and then they just, we're just going to throw the cup. Touchdown. They're like, we tried to get Robinson the ball like 3 times. There was like 4 pass interference. It was ridiculous. And now, like, let's just get Cup the ball.
And now McVay left Cooper Kupp out in the field too long, and now he's hurt. His ankle.
Yeah.
Now
he shouldn't even have been in the game.
At least he walked off. They started taking their helmets off like it was worse. I was like, oh, this isn't good. They're all taking a knee around. I was like, ugh.
They said it's his ankle and that it's okay. It's a day-to-day. So I think he's going to be a decoy next week.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens. I mean, from a fantasy standpoint, he's probably not going to play next week.
Guy that targets, Robinson. They forced him the ball. I mean, he had 5 catch, but he just
the guy though that I think that from this game that we all should talk about only had been with the team for 11 days. Christian McCaffery. The guy goes out, throws a touchdown,
hat trick,
rushes for a touchdown, receives a touchdown.
Yeah.
I think we all knew that Christian McCaffrey was dynamic. We knew that this was a big move for them. We knew that this was exciting.
Yeah.
I didn't think that in the first 2 games that he would not only set that NFL world back on notice, but he's changing his view in the hobby immediately. Both those things are happening.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey is on his way to the moon again.
Well, he's a much better fan base with San Francisco than Carolina.
And he went to the perfect team for him, both in the hobby and in
it was
football.
a perfect fit.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't... He's a Stanford kid, right?
Going back home.
He loved it there. He was the face of the Stanford Cardinal for a few years. Like, and then here he is, and now he goes and he balls out like that, and that fan base is rabid. We know that. 49er fans are borderline annoying when they get... get excited about their team. Now, shout out Kyle at Darkside. But seriously, like, they really, you really do. This guy is putting it all together for a team that needs it.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that as long as he stays healthy, and now you're talking about an offensive line and skill position players that can block, Kerry Kittle is a good blocking tight end.
George
Kittle. Oh, why am I wrong with names?
Kerry Kittle played for the Nets, though.
It's been a long day.
Listen, it's not been a long day. It's been a long 2 weeks. Dave and I talked about this earlier.
It's exhausting.
I am on one today.
Like,
I couldn't get in my break earlier today. I also couldn't get teams right for guys that were drafted, and I knew where they went, and I'd get it wrong in the middle. No, you're right. So don't judge me today. Give me a pass, please. But no, Kittle's a good blocking tight end.
Yeah.
So, you got a team like that. I don't know. Right now, Seattle's leading the division.
Yeah.
Are they going to end up winning this division? Do you think the Niners are going to turn this around in the back half and really do it?
Mm-hmm. The Rams aren't going to. The Niners will. No. I don't know where the Rams end up finishing up, but I think they're only going to have one team make the playoffs out of that division.
Yeah, because I honestly thought there was no chance that Odell Beckham was going to any other team except for the Rams again. They say now watching this now, and you're like, he's going to get his pick to where he wants to go, obviously. Yeah.
That'd be another good for Green Bay to go out and get him. That's another.
But they won't. They won't do anything.
They won't.
They won't do anything. They won't spend anything to help Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers for 30-plus years. They have 2 Super Bowls with 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. It's embarrassing. If I was a Packers fan, I would be just absolutely pissed.
I don't know why they don't spend any money on wide receivers.
They don't do anything.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's one of those things.
The division's tough, and then they don't do that, and then you have. At least the Rams try.
It was right for the taking.
The Rams are trained to get
Stafford. They're trained to get these guys.
One of the things you have to remember, and it's easy to forget, Aaron Rodgers went and took a absolute max contract deal at almost $50 million a year.
Yeah.
So you can't afford some of these guys.
I understand not affording Devontae Adams, but
what I'm saying.
Look at the Dolphins. The Dolphins, they're paying a lot of guys. They go out and get Tyreek Hill. They even went and got Cedric Wilson from Dallas. You mean to tell me the Packers couldn't get Cedric Wilson?
They also had
he's the 5th receiver for the Dolphins. You mean to tell me Cedric Wilson couldn't help the Packers?
Of course
he could. But they don't do anything when it comes to wide receivers.
I agree.
Then they let the guys go to the Chiefs and other teams, and then they go back and get Randall Cobb. It's really at the back end. It's just if I was Aaron Rodgers, I'm I don't know why he wanted to stay there. I'm out.
Because they threw him all that money.
It was exactly that. He was going to leave. Remember, he was going to be the Broncos quarterback.
Yeah.
He was going to go play quarterback for the Broncos.
Could have saved Russell Wilson trip.
And then they didn't get rid of him, and now things fall into place.
Jerry Jeudy. They should go get Jerry Jeudy.
Jerry Jeudy, yeah.
They should go get Jerry Jeudy.
It's baffling to me.
And again, the Broncos probably are another team, I guess, that probably have a receiver depth that they could do something with. Maybe get some picks and try to improve themselves next year.
Yeah.
But that's not going to help with their coach, so I don't know if that matters.
Yeah, especially if he's picking the picks.
Yeah, if he's picking the picks.
Oh my
gosh. And in the first round, he takes...
Yeah, he's going to take a backup center.
That guy?
From Boise State.
Exactly. The NFC South is really interesting, right? You just saw Chris McCaffery get jettisoned. You're seeing guys get moved. Deals are happening. You had Saints made a move, right? Did they make a trade?
Saints
made it. I thought they traded someone.
Their dignity?
Yeah, maybe. But again, Saints go out this week and win against the Raiders.
Tough Raiders, yeah.
Right? They beat the Raiders.
How embarrassing.
Shut out.
Yeah, and they go and they beat the Raiders, and the defense finally showed up for New Orleans. The
Raiders' offense is just that bad. All those guys you tell me
they didn't play very
well.
well.
I really messed that one. I bet Derek Carr to win MVP. I picked 3 quarterbacks. Not even close on Derek Carr.
If they shut out one more team, their average might be closer to the 10 that we predicted earlier, though.
Yeah.
10 shutouts?
No, not 10 shutouts. We keep them around 10 points.
For the whole season?
Average.
Yeah.
So if you get one more shutout, all of a sudden it comes down to in that 16 range. It's all averages, bro.
Getting us there, remember?
Numbers don't lie, dude.
Giving up 10 points a game, it's not even close. They're probably
numbers don't lie.
They gave up 30-something to Seattle. They're not even close.
Thought I had high aspirations at the beginning of the season.
Oh my God! What do you think they're? The 85 Bears?
I thought they were giving that Ravens team a run for their
some
money.
good pieces.
10 points.
The
Bills and Cowboys are playing unreal, and they're at 13-14.
Dude, they made 5 additions the offseason. I thought for sure, but it didn't happen. Here's the thing, though, guys. In this division in the South, the Bucs and Brady doing exactly what I came on at the beginning of the year saying I didn't think that they would make the playoffs, and I didn't think they were a very good team in general. I thought they lost a lot, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Losing Gronk was
everybody thought it was, and then offensively, the loss of Gronk. They lost 2 offensive linemen.
They
Now
lost
they're
offensive
lost to
linemen.
injuries.
They got retired. I
They've got
said
a
it
bunch of
before, and
injuries and all
Jimmy
this
gave me
stuff.
shit for it.
Yeah.
I said the Buccaneers are not going to win that division, and he was all over me. And I said, dude, their offensive line, like Tom Brady's not a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
And you can't just keep losing all these offensive linemen and expect Brady to stand there and just wing the ball around like he's 25 again. Like that's
Kronk's
just
a
not going to
security
happen.
blank. Like he gets open, even if he's not
Like
open. He can
who
make
else
a
do you need
catch.
to
He's
add
not
to
there.
that team? Like you went out and you had Leonard Fournette. You brought him back, right, and paid him a little bit of money. You have Mike Evans still. You have Chris Godwin. You went out and added Russell Gage. Like you have all these pieces.
Well, and Chris Godwin, let's be fair, he came off an injury, and even though he's back, it still takes a little while to really get back from that injury.
He's a great receiver.
I understand, but you can't tell me he doesn't have people to throw to.
Right, he does.
He's got way
But
more
their
than Aaron
line
Rodgers.
is in shambles. Defensively, they just don't stop anybody. They don't scare you
Because they're secondary.
defensively.
The front seven in the Bucs is unbelievable.
Yeah, the front seven is.
Yeah,
You
they
can't run
don't-
against them.
They don't scare you as far as you can go in and make a game plan, and you're going to be able to do it. They're not
Except for
balanced.
Devin White got absolutely annihilated.
Devin White did.
Yeah.
Oh, he
I
got
didn't see it.
annihilated by a rookie center for like 4 plays. It was unreal.
Well, there
he was
you go.
getting destroyed.
So see, that's the front seven is usually pretty good, but their secondary is
Right.
bad. So
I couldn't believe it.
I don't know
was
who the
like,
hell's going to
oh.
win that division.
No, and you got the Falcons leading the division. They win a close game against Carolina, where you talk about this all the time. You talk about young guys. They made the moves. They make the trades, and then this guy goes out. DJ Moore has an incredibly awesome long touchdown catch.
Yeah.
Looks great on the catch, and then right when it matters, makes the bonehead play, takes his helmet off on the field, gets the penalty. That disrupts everything. That's what it does. It just disrupts
He
everything.
made like a 46-yard extra point.
Right.
40 is more than
That's
like
what I'm
42
saying.
48
15 plus
yards.
33.
Right.
Yeah, 48. 48 yards.
So
48-yard.
Now that
They
all
don't
of
need
a
to
sudden,
call it that much, though. I mean, taking your helmet. If he, because I watched it and I'm like, okay, he took his helmet off. He was excited, but he didn't like make any gestures or whatever like that. It was just he took his helmet off. Like,
But he knew the rules.
I know the rules. I know. I
that
get
is
it. Trust
the
me. I know the
thing, is
rules.
that no matter what you say here,
They got to be a little bit more lenient in certain situations because
rules is the rules. You can't.
well, if rules are the rules, and this whole roughing the passer crap is all over the place. So the NFL has
Because
no
no one
clue
knows
what
how to call that.
because Roger
They don't
Goodell's
know
a
if they
jackass.
should or they shouldn't.
But when
call
somebody
it.
takes their helmet off, you see that.
But
Everyone
when you
sees
take
it.
the helmet off and you're on the field, you
Right.
know that you're not supposed to.
So the other day, there was a timeout called right after he had a play. I think it was Terry McLaurin makes that crazy, unbelievable catch
Yeah,
at the
on the
1 yard
one,
line.
yeah.
They call a timeout because they have to. He literally took his helmet off, starts pointing at people, no penalty at all.
Because
Because it's a timeout. Oh, so you're allowed to do whatever you want
Yeah,
during a
'cause
timeout,
it's
but
in
not during
timeout,
actual.
There's no potential action.
So when is the play's dead? It's okay. You can take your helmet off. It's a penalty. But
When-
it's a
when the
timeout.
play-
You can just take your helmet
when the
off
play
and
is dead,
start talking shit.
The play clock starts and you're still in play.
Yeah, I understand that,
When
but
the
like,
clock stops,
but
you're
when
not
DJ
in
Moore
play.
scored a touchdown, it's right. It's play
No,
stops.
because then you have to complete. You still
I
have a
understand
play
you have to
clock
complete it,
for
but
the
you have
extra
a play
point.
clock
You
with
mean
extra
it's
point.
just
That's
the
why.
NFL, the no fun league. This is what
I
everybody
get-
gets frustrated with. Besides that, the whole where a guy fumbles the ball in the end zone and the other team gets it at the 20
Yeah.
going the other way. That is the dumbest rule in the history of sports.
Where do you want
It's
it?
the same thing. I don't know, but it can't be the other team gets the ball. You lose possession. You're going on 80 yards, fumble, the ball goes in the end zone, comes out of bounds, and all of a sudden the other team gets the ball at the 20. It makes no sense to me. I don't understand how that rule was even invented. It's the dumbest rule ever.
I think one thing that we know we need to do
Yeah.
is that right before they make rules changes this next year,
Yeah.
we definitely got to have the warden back on.
It just makes no
and
sense.
have
Just
him
give me an
run down.
explanation why.
I want your top for this. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm serious. I want you to come back right around that time with the top 10 worst rules in the NFL.
That's number one for
No,
sure.
but I
The
want.
shift
I want
is two.
That's number one.
The shift is 2.
That's in baseball. We're
You're-
talking.
I don't care. You're talking about rules in general? I can do this all day.
Yeah.
It's,
Well,
it's
we'll
so DJ Moore takes his helmet off, 15 yards penalty. Timeout, Terry McLaurin, go ahead and kick somebody. Do whatever you want. Take your helmet off. We're in a timeout. Go ahead. No big
Eddie
deal.
Pinheiro had a chance to win the game in overtime, and he missed it again.
Yeah,
He did.
that's
He
different.
did.
But the whole
And-
talking about the rule, the helmet.
But the Falcons pull it off. Falcons leading in the division. Are we still? Because let's be fair. You and I said we thought the Falcons were going to be. We thought the Bears and the Falcons were going to be the worst teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
And neither one of them are the worst teams in the NFL right now. I mean, there's an argument that the Rams are playing worse than both those teams.
Yeah.
They are.
They are, right?
Yes, they're definitely playing. I don't think they'll have the worst record at the end of the season, but they're definitely playing. They're definitely playing pretty bad.
All right, and
Yeah.
the Falcons are playing fairly
playing
good.
better than I thought
and
they
they're
would.
playing good. Like they play good team defense. Nothing is like overwhelmingly amazing, but they play good team defense. Yeah, they gave up a bunch of points this week.
I wish Calvin Ridley was still there.
Then they
That's another thing.
they play
A
you know,
year?
Yeah.
A year?
A year
Yeah.
because he bet on
A
his
year.
own team.
Give me
Yeah.
a break. It's so good.
Um,
God, I hate Goodell.
And then
stand him.
Roger, that's for you. And then you know
I'll tell him to his face. I don't care.
on the offensive side, like they move the pocket,
Yeah.
they're mobile, they've got a little bit of college feel to that offense, right? It feels
Yeah.
a little college offense,
Yeah.
and it works. It
Yeah.
works because defenders get tired of chasing Marcus Mariota around.
Right.
They're constantly chasing him left and right.
He's moving.
It's where we go. The East has become so good, and the South really has been so bad. But the Falcons have played nice. They've played good. I don't know if this is real or not. We'll see. It would be a neat story if the Falcons made the playoffs this year. It'd be unfortunate.
I mean, it's tough
Because
Those-
you
yeah.
kind of would hope that they would be able to get all their young pieces together and everything work together at once. But it's an opportunity for them to maybe surprise someone and do something. And you know, there's always a team every year, right?
Yeah.
That kind of surprises you. And I think they're that team. The Giants surprise us, but we look at it and go, well, if Saquon's healthy and Saquon's what he is, we expect that. Danny Dimes, we all thought he was a good player. We didn't think he
He's
was
athletic as hell.
garbage. We thought he was a good player. He just wasn't playing well.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's playing well. Saquon's playing well. And now, the offense clicks. They're playing. They got Kayvon Thibodeau, and he's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
formidable.
Who
So
cares if he's goofy?
I think
Eli was goofy.
Yeah.
No one cared about that.
exactly. So I think when you look at it, like you're looking at the scape of the NFL, it's interesting to see how some of this stuff that we really thought
Yeah.
on paper, and I get that we get stuff wrong and things happen.
Yeah.
But as the season progresses, right, things start to average themselves out. So that overreaction, which is what this is about for us, over-under, the overreaction at the beginning of the year, Saints are so bad, Saints are this, Saints are that. Now all of a sudden, Saints are close in their division.
God, I would love to have the Saints come back.
They're
and
just
win.
they're in a bad division. It's
I
not
know.
like
They
it's
are.
like
I would love for them to come back and win that division, though.
You still have to win the games that are put in front of you.
the
so
Falcons
sweet.
There
are
is
in
someone who
first
gets
place.
the hey. There's
How do you
teams that
not-
get the best schedule.
You
in
know
the
the Saints
NFL,
are going to
teams
come
that
back
get
and
the
still win the
worst.
division, right?
Um,
If the Bucks are playing this bad, you know the Saints are going to win the division, unless
I
the
would
Bucks
love for
turn
that to
around.
happen.
And then we should
For what?
mention
They lose
because
in the first round.
it doesn't make
I
sense
don't
for
care.
us.
I think I might have a bet. That's why.
I
Oh, is that right? Sorry.
He does. He does.
I gotta see.
Yeah, I
Um,
may have one. So
The one team that we
you don't want me to jinx
absolutely
it for you, is that right?
the one team we absolutely should bring up though and talk about is the Eagles.
Yeah, it's
Um,
painful.
They're an absolute monster. They move the ball well. They play good defense. Guys are in the right spot. And you know what I was seeing? They don't make stupid mistakes.
No.
They're not penalized. They don't
No,
do
very well
things.
coached.
And on top of it, their clock management is incredible. How they snap the ball, where they put it, they eat up time of possession. They do all of those things. For an offense that can move quick as
Yeah.
it wants to, they take their time. They get the right play off. They get the right play call in. They call timeouts if they need to. What I've seen, I haven't seen them make a timeout call that I thought wasn't right.
Right.
And I've looked across the NFL this year. I've come into this program saying how bad coaching has been this year. And wow, are they coached well?
yeah, it's. I mean, it's unfortunate for Cowboys fans, but yeah, they've done exactly what they needed to do. Everyone laughed at them for when they drafted Jalen Hurts because they had Carson Wentz, and every Philadelphia Eagles fan loved Carson Wentz.
Oh.
And I kept telling Eagles fans,
Yeah.
I was telling Paul and our other buddies,
I
was like,
I
said
like Carson
Jalen
Wentz
Hurts
still.
is actually I like Jalen Hurts better. I said you guys got rid of the wrong quarterback when you got rid of Nick Foles because Foles was perfect for that system, and they could have gotten a lot for Wentz instead of giving him the extension. But they did him the extension because he was younger. And then what happens 2 years later? Wentz is out the door, and you got Jalen Hurts in there now, and I think he's doing everything he needs to do.
They picked up Robert Quinn too, right? Didn't
They
pick
picked up
him
Robert Quinn,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's even better.
I mean, he's a retread. He'll be fine.
yeah, but he's a defensive. That's all you need is a pass rusher.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
he's a guy.
Didn't they get him from the Saints?
No, they got him with the
No,
Bears.
Bears, okay. For the Bears, that's
Via
right.
Cowboys from the year
Yeah,
before.
gotcha.
We already let him go.
So, NFL week was an odd week. Scoring was up a little bit. They've been talking about that this year. We'll see where that takes us.
1 week had to go up.
But we'll talk about it a little bit now because it's time for Jay's Fantasy Roundup, portion of the program where Jay gives us his feedback and advice for your fantasy lineup. And before we get started, Jay, I just have to say, what a week difference can make.
Yeah.
In 1 week's difference, I went from getting boat raced by you and other people last week, and then I turned around this week and I'm boat racing in both leagues. My guys are healthy, guys are back, guys are not in timeout, whatever it is.
You guys, your team played a little scared. You guys came in last week and played a little. You guys, it's right now. It's Mike.
Oh man!
Not only is he in last place, but look at his points. Mike's points are terrible.
So what you guys don't realize is, in the Game Day family here, we have a fantasy league that the loser of the league has to spend, is it 3 hours?
2 hours or something.
2 hours or something, it doesn't matter. Even if it was a half an hour, it doesn't
out
matter.
in front on the street.
They should not do it in July.
Spin the sign on the street.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a big event around it.
Yep.
Make sure everybody comes down. Probably get the sign to say honk.
And right now, Micah-Chu is the one in last place.
Micah-Chu is in last place. I'm going to let Jay keep talking about that. I'll let Jay be the one to do that. I'm not going to talk it because I know what happens when I say things.
He's going to take it down.
I'm just going to go ahead. And leave it at that, or Mike will go on 7 straight wins.
I mean, I have one word for the waiver wire this week, and it's yuck. Like, I'm looking at this waiver wire possibility now. You actually have some pretty good teams on bye weeks. So you may have to go and grab some guys off waiver. You have the Browns, the Cowboys, Denver, the Giants, Pittsburgh Steelers, and the San Francisco 49ers all on bye week. So that's, even if they're not good records, that's a lot of fantasy relevant players.
Yeah.
So you may have to go and dive on these waiver wire. And I'll tell you right now, after seeing some of these injuries with Jamar Chase and his hip being out 4 to 6 weeks, Rashad Bateman comes back and then goes right back out. Hits that's his foot, and that's going to be a few weeks. Mark Andrews, they're saying his shoulder, and it's okay. I'm still a little leery about that. And then Cooper Kupp, like we talked about earlier, they're saying it's week to week, but I think he's going to be a decoy. So there's something on the waiver wire list that I want you guys to pick up, and you can plug and play him possibly. As far as running backs go, Khalil Herbert. He's a guy that we talked about earlier in the year. He kind of took a step back when Montgomery had a couple of good weeks. Maybe people dropped him. Yep. Go look and see if someone dropped him in your league because you want to go pick him up. Also, Isaiah Pacheco. He's a guy that many teams might have dropped because he was on bye last week and they tried to scoot him by and they're going to go pick him up again. He's another guy, Latavius Murray for Denver. You don't want to pick him up this week because Denver's on bye, but look at him the following week because he's got another week of...
I picked him up last week.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I made the move last week because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to get him. And I did. I used him this week when I had a running back with a bye.
Yes. Wan'Dale Robinson. A lot of people think that Kadarius Toney is the guy to go out and get because he got traded to the Chiefs. It's going to take him a little bit to learn that playbook. He's not just going to step into it and instantly be an absolute stud. It's going to take him a little bit of time. I like him in dynasty leagues, but as far as redraft, I'm not real high on Kadarius Toney this year. Wan'Dale Robinson is a guy I want to own for New York Giants. I know we mentioned him last week. Now you want to go get him. Josh Palmer. You have Keenan Allen, who's banged up, but coming back. You have Mike Evans, who's now banged up. Josh Palmer is going to see a lot of targets this next couple of weeks. Josh Palmer's a guy that you're going to want to go out and get. And the guy I want to mention is that Ben Skoranek. He's the guy that's getting all the targets that Allen Robinson should be getting. So if Cooper Kupp is out there, which you're obviously going to play him if he's out there, right? He might be a decoy. We've seen this happen before where they rush that guy out there.
Doesn't he line up in the halfback or fullback position?
Sometimes he does. He's kind of all over the field. He's like a gadget guy, but he's a receiver. But he's the guy getting all the extra targets that I thought Allen Robinson would be getting this year. So he's a guy you want to go out and add. And because of the way tight end is this year, Evan Ingram is back on the fantasy radar. This is a guy that was like left for dead. Mm-hmm. He's back on the fantasy radar. Go grab him at tight end, especially with all these guys that are out on bye weeks, because it's just unreal. It's unreal the way these guys are dropping like flies.
Yeah, there's been a lot of injuries. I know that I got hit with injuries. I had Jahan Dotson. I had Traylon Burks. Both those guys' injuries have kept them from being
dropping like flies. And if Cooper Kupp is not a guy
Mark Andrews got hurt. Like, continue to go down the list. So I'm right there with you. Like, it's consistent that we're having some of these injury issues.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess it makes it your league a little bit more competitive in some aspects. So this is where Jay comes and gives you this advice that you can utilize. Go out, make a sneaky move, and then all of a sudden, I made one this year. I told you about it, which was I drafted ETN, right? And then what happened? Robinson got dealt.
Yep.
And ETN is the feature back,
He's
and
the
he's
guy.
putting up big numbers.
He's the guy.
And he's killing it, and he's an extra running back for me in a league where I already have Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry. And I can add him to the flex. Like, that's a nice three-headed monster to be able to...
Who would have thought, though, out of this year, who would have thought, and we kind of talked about this a little bit off air, that in your fantasy leagues where there's redraft or even dynasty right now for just this year, who would have thought you would rather be playing guys like Geno Smith and Andy Dalton and guys at this caliber rather than the guys like the Aaron Rodgers and the Russell Wilsons and the Tom Bradys and the Matt Staffords?
Yeah.
Who would have thought that would turn like that? Like, you're talking about guys that are Hall of Famers. And I would rather be playing Geno Smith and Andy Dalton on a week, and even Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Jared Goff, the guy that Matt Stafford was traded for.
Played Geno Smith over Derek Carr.
That's what,
I have no choice.
Who would have
I
thought,
can't trust
though?
Derek Carr right now.
That was a good move because Derek Carr had like 40 yards passing in the fourth
I
quarter.
know. I beat Danny by 13. If I didn't play Geno Smith, I would have lost to that guy.
Well,
That'd have been
no,
brutal.
and you're
I'd have been spinning that side.
You're spot on when you're talking about that. You're talking about the decline in these greats.
Yes.
And we're seeing it. We're seeing them not play well. I mean, I don't know what their, ratings have been, but I would guess that, their QBR's probably got to be in the average.
I pulled, Dave and I were doing this off air. We pulled the QBR just for the three main guys I just mentioned a minute ago off the air. We pulled Aaron Rodgers at a 91 QBR, which was actually the highest of those three. Russell Wilson came in at 84.3 for his QBR this last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Tom Brady was at 89.7. Now, for the year, it's a little bit different, except for Russell Wilson is pretty similar. Aaron Rodgers for the year is 94.5, which is not terrible. He's just not throwing as much as he used to because he has nobody to throw to.
Right.
They have to run the ball a lot more, and that's not what he's accustomed to. Tom Brady for the season is still at 92.4, which is okay. Russell Wilson, though, 83.5 is his QBR for the season. Like, I was more excited to see Brett Rippon play that game than I am for Russell Wilson.
Right.
I don't know.
And that's bad.
It's weird.
And they won that game, didn't they? Then they won the game that Brett Rippon started. Was it last week? I mean, before Russell Wilson did the workout in the team charter. Everyone's going nuts over.
Man.
Even Justin Tucker's giving him
The
shit.
dude's
He's a
going-
kicker. You're a kicker that's talking smack now about a quarterback.
Guys are going
No, they lost to the Jets.
Oh, that's right.
They
did
lost
lose
to the Jets,
They
yeah.
did lose to the Jets. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Well, he didn't do. I mean,
He didn't do
Yeah,
terrible.
but
Yeah,
Brett
he
Rippon
didn't have
played
touchdowns.
okay.
He only threw it 46
Zach
times.
Wilson had 121 yards.
Yep.
Jeez,
And
man,
that's
what
another
terrible.
Well, as you talked about those
Kickers,
quarterbacks,
plus
that's
or-
actually going to take us into plus or minus.
Yes.
This is our investment portion of the program. And what you just touched on and what you're discussing about the fall off of those great quarterbacks is actually an incredible investment opportunity for the hobby.
Yep.
And what happens is that people are so stuck in the what have you done for me lately? They're so stuck in the performance of a guy this week, right? Everybody was jumping and freaking out to get their Sam Ellinger this last week because he was going to be the starter, right?
For the rest of the year, though.
And everybody's like, run, get it, like all this. They're all excited about that 1 year.
Yep.
And I sit back and I go, look, I told you guys at the end of last year, look, Roethlisberger did not look good. Everybody was not, we knew that. And he dipped hard. And I sat there and I said, look, guys, he dipped hard. Go buy now. Because when he retires at the end of the season, there'll be a little bit of a bump because of the discussion that he retired. That'll just naturally inflate it.
Yep.
So this might be your bottom to the market. Now, it's a long-term hold. You're talking 4 to 5 years.
Right.
But once he gets his bust in Canton,
Yeah.
his prices just gradually increase. So when you find these flat zones in the hobby space where you can go out and buy, and some guys flat a little different than others, and we'll talk about that. The first guy I'm going to talk about is Brady. When you look at Brady's rookies are down. I'm not going to go from the high point. I'm going to go from the time that he announced he was coming back, right? That started to dip there a little bit because people were like, "Oh, he's back." It's I frantically bought, and now he's playing longer. No, those cards were still his rookie. Yeah. They're still the rookie cards. He's down probably almost 50%.
Wow,
from where he was at.
The market's really bad,
right?
In general,
market's down about 42% across, but Brady rookies are down almost 50.
It's time to buy it. You're going to buy it.
Buy Brady rookies. You buy Brady rookies now. This, to me, though, isn't that egregious dip. This was kind of expected when you have a decline in the market. What it's basically saying is that if the market was the same as it was, say, a year ago, Brady would be worth 8% less with his decline.
Yeah.
So it's only an 8% decline. It's easy for us to sit here and say almost 50%, but we have to scale the entire market, not just Brady, right? That takes me then to go to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is a buy now as well. Aaron Rodgers has seen a dip that is about 30%. That 30%
that's a,
compared to Brady's 8%.
People don't like him either.
Right?
That's another thing.
He's an unlikable guy. And what we've learned about this is that guys like Barry Bonds who are unlikable, these guys, but they still always have a collector base. But it's not as strong as some of the others. So my advice to you guys here is Aaron Rodgers is a buy, but don't go too crazy. Aaron Rodgers is I'm going to grab a couple of nice rookie cards to put away, or a nice paralleled color or short print or a color blast or something like that. And I'm going to grab those type cards, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Whereas I tell you, you buy every single Brady rookie if you can afford it, right? Yeah. Aaron Rodgers is going to be kind of like, let's see. Because again, it's let's see. We also don't know that Aaron Rodgers is that close to retirement. We know it's coming soon.
Yeah.
But I think that we're probably in that position where we might see a resurgence from him with another franchise. He may go play somewhere else and be happy again and have pieces that he likes and then all of a sudden play well and everybody's like, oh, see, I told you Aaron Rodgers was. That may happen and that will spike the market again. So my point is, now's the time to buy for him because if that does happen, it'll spike up.
And you can get him pretty cheap right now, can't you?
You can. Well, and
PSN
again, he's down about 30% from the average in the market where he should be, right? So he's down about 30% overall. The guy that's really down, Russell Wilson. You touched on it. His rating is down this year overall. His production is down overall this year with going to that team. Here's my play, though. Russell Wilson is the one out of this group that has the longest amount of time to correct the ship.
Yeah.
So sometimes guy can have a bad year.
Yeah.
Maybe Russ is having a bad year, and if you ask me about it, I'll tell you that Russ has a bad coach. And a bad coach can make you have a bad year. Sure, he's not playing great, but it's also schemes might be off. Maybe they're changing things weekly and people are out of rhythm constantly.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of stuff.
Because their defense is actually playing good. It's not offense. It just isn't coming through right now.
So my point is, Russell Wilson is down almost 90%.
That's insane, dude.
From what he was. His tops PSA 10 rookies, the top, just the base tops rookies, were $120, $130. They are now being picked up between $30 and $35 consistently. You can go out, you can pick up cards of his.
Russell Wilson stuff, but not like.
And that's my point, is that you're not going out to buy his base. You're not going out to buy that. Whereas with Brady, you're going to buy any of them. With A-Rod, you're going to buy one or two safe cards, right? A Topps Chrome, you know, or something like that. With Russell Wilson, anything that's colored, anything that is refractor, anything that is autographed are your plays. Those are your plays for the Russ Wilson.
Okay.
And you're not worrying about buying his color blast and all this stuff and everything. You want to buy just those rookies. So you've got to be smart. You've got to be sharp in what you're buying with each one of these. It's not just going out and buying everything with him. Brady is different. Brady has done things that no one else is ever going to do.
And he'll go down and is one of the best quarterbacks ever played. And Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers won't. They'll both be in the Hall of Fame, but no one's ever going to say, like, this is one of the best quarterbacks I've ever saw play.
7 years from now, you will have an opportunity to go to a show and get Joe Montana and Tom Brady's autograph at the same time. And their markets, when that happens, it's going to help Montana's market tremendously. They're going to go through the roof.
Yeah.
They're going to go through the roof. So, opportunity now. Brady, absolute buy. You're not buying him any cheaper. Even if he has that little one more year and they play okay and they make the playoffs or something, the spike, that's fine. Aaron Rodgers, he's a guy that could go somewhere and maybe right the ship, but that's not so safe. Russ Wilson has time. His time, the other two don't. So at this point, I think it's safe to say that Russell Wilson is the most volatile of the three, but his market's so down, you almost can't miss.
Does that weird shit on the plane or anything? Or
No, but I'll tell you what.
But then, like, a lot of Seattle players came out and, like, they admittedly hate
those guys.
Russell
don't like him
as a person. They don't like him at all. Like, he didn't hang out. He wasn't a friend. Like, they
said they had to go through his management team to
talk to him. Like, he was like
he's a person.
President.
He's a personable dude to the fan base, right? Some people think he's funny. He's the one of the three that's probably going to end up on TV. He's probably the one of the three that'll end up on TV.
Sierra thinks
being someone like a Dan Orlovsky or something like that, like that type of analyst, and that will also help. That will also help his marketplace. The thing that we can tell you about the three of these guys, two of them are not liked very well in the league and in the hobby right now.
Right.
And the third one being Brady, people are mad that he unretired. Then you find out he's getting a divorce, and I think you realize that he may have even known this divorce thing. When he retired, the play might have been him trying to save his marriage.
Right.
No, and then wasn't she like banging Antonio Brown or something?
That's what Antonio Brown.
That's what Antonio Brown's trying to tell.
Isn't that hilarious? Like, that dude was whacked.
You saw the video, right?
Yeah,
like, you saw the picture,
like,
right?
Holding. No, did you see the video after like the Super Bowl or something?
Yes, it was like awkward.
Yeah,
like she got like really
awkward.
close to his face. Like
very awkward. Yeah, it was like
way too in his personal space.
It's a weird thing, but my point is, when Brady retired, that may have been the Hail Mary to try to save it.
Yeah.
And then unretired because he's at that point where it's like...
He knew it wasn't going to happen.
It's not going to happen, and I only unretired for this reason.
I think Brady will be fine.
So, I think, as far as personal, but career-wise, I think that's it. So, he's got a lot of stuff going on. He's dealing with a lot of stuff. I think everybody's kind of giving Brady a little bit of a pass because of that, whereas the other guys, not so much. Matchup tonight, Game 3 of the World Series. Bryce Harper, the guys played unreal, but so have the Astros. The Astros are doing what the Astros have done all season.
Oh, it's
they
postponed?
come out.
It's postponed?
Yeah, and I was about to say that.
Oh, sorry.
They come out.
I just happened to get the
No, it's all right.
notification.
I was about to
Spoiler
say it.
alert.
But the
ESPN
game
beat you to it. Sorry.
is postponed because it's on the East Coast, and apparently they want to rain, which is why I think that the World Series should be played on a neutral. We should just play it in a nice neutral.
What time was it supposed to start? Was it supposed to start at 4 o'clock our time? Is that what time?
5:08.
5:08, I think, right?
5:08.
So
Okay.
Something like that. It's like 5.
So they didn't cancel the game. They just postponed it.
Postponed it. It's not canceled yet. It's
We'll
postponed.
see. That happens a lot. But
Philadelphia ruins everything.
Philadelphia ruins everything.
And it's a bummer.
They're back in Philadelphia
because of Bryce Harper's on the team, so I'm rooting for.
It's always sunny. It's always sunny in Philadelphia. Not.
It's going to be interesting. Moving forward, the pitching matchup obviously is favored to the Astros. But the bullpens for both sides have been pretty good.
Yeah.
I think that Astros bullpen is even better than people thought. They have been incredibly good. And outside of, they did give up the home run the other night and stuff. That's going to happen. This Phillies team is really good. You're going to give up a hit or two to them. But if you give them a lead like they had, 5 runs, they're going to be able to shut it down and keep them at bay.
They said, I saw a funny stat on that too. They said that Justin Verlander for his career was 101-0 when he had a 5-run lead.
Yeah.
And guess what? He's still 101-0 because they tied it,
Yeah.
and then they changed pitchers, and then he didn't get the loss. So he still gets to keep that record, that streak intact. He's still 101-0 when he has a 5-run lead.
So we'll see if that game goes off. We'll see what happens with it. I mean, it's probably not the worst thing if it didn't get played tonight. It's Halloween.
It's Halloween.
Right? So I thought that was bad scheduling by Major League Baseball in the first place.
And they're going up against Monday Night Football, too.
Well, they've changed that in the past. You know that, right? Because it used to be they would, they play the 2-3-2.
Yeah.
So they changed it so, they play the 2 games Friday, Saturday, Sunday off because of football. They play Monday, so they have to compete against football. Then they have Tuesday, Wednesday they play, off Thursday, and then they play game 6 and 7 Friday, Saturday. So they've literally eliminated a Thursday night game and Sunday to conflict with it because they can't beat the NFL. Pretty much nobody can.
Right. And so one thing to take from that last game, though, that no one's talking about, they went out and they used the computerized zone, and the plate umpire was 100% accurate on balls.
Yeah, you're getting the best umpire though.
But
out of
he
the
was 100%.
Was it Angel Hernandez?
I don't know.
But he was 100% accurate.
I can't remember his name. He's
It
unbelievable.
wasn't Angel Hernandez.
100% accurate.
That's pretty
based
good.
on the computerized.
Yeah.
So for all the knocks that we give,
you're getting
umpires,
the best.
And we're getting that
7 umpires, whatever.
It's
6
great
umpires,
to see.
right?
Like the guy literally got everything right, and I think that's cool.
Hopefully he gets recognized.
Yeah, and he should. And
Right.
he should. And I
No,
hope
they've
do
been
something-
talking about this.
I hope they do something
Right.
tonight, talking about it, just to
Oh, they
mention
will.
it on the broadcast.
They've been talking about it all over.
I wonder what Angel Hernandez would be. Like 40%?
Oh no,
50?
lower than that.
He's terrible.
Lower than that.
I think he's blind.
He's pretty bad. All right, let me set the scene for you really quick. All right, so starting this season off in the NBA, you had Kevin Durant, LeBron James, 1 and 10 to start the season combined, the two teams.
Yikes.
Right? There's a stat out there that says that Michael Jordan never lost more than 3 games to start a season ever in his career, anywhere, any level, something like that.
Right.
He never lost more than 2 in a row at all. Right?
I believe that.
All this stuff. Like, you're getting all these, and this is those greatest of all times. But what I want to touch on about this really quick is just the fact that it's not about these guys and their legacies, the Durants, the LeBrons. You even have, there's some other, veteran players that are kind of having tougher starts to their season this year. That last 2 years of draft class in the NBA, right? Now, I'm not talking about the LaMelo and Ant-Man years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the Paolo Banchero. I'm talking about...
Primo?
Well, Primo's looking for a new team.
He's getting...
He
something happened
cleared
there.
I know.
He cleared waivers.
Something happened. I think it was his mental health.
Yeah,
I think it was really bad.
I know, but you don't expose yourself.
He's in
to
San
that.
Antonio. But
He's
these
not in
draft
San
class
Antonio
have been so good that I think that really contributes to what this is. This is the first time that you're seeing some teams out of one draft in the NBA be able to turn it around. Before, you needed 2-3 drafts to be able to kind of like turn around your franchise.
Yeah.
And teams are turning it around this year. And then some of those teams made moves. The Cavs going out and getting Spida, right? The Timberwolves made moves, right? You start looking at the Jazz made some moves.
But they have the room to make
right?
the moves.
These
Right.
guys go
Yeah.
and they made these moves. They're able to do this stuff. So we're knocking these veteran-laden teams for starting poor. I'm like, you know what? There's kind of a changing of the guard going on. And I think people need to realize that.
Yeah, but
There's a changing of the guard going on now. You shouldn't be expecting LeBron to go out and win it all for you. You shouldn't be expecting Durant to be able to go out and win it all for you. You know,
I don't start watching basketball until the football season's over, which I know is really late, but that's just me. But I could have swore I saw. I think you showed me on Twitter. I thought the NBA season was over because I saw the Lakers celebrating with champagne and water. Is that not the NBA Finals?
no, and it was this year.
So
You are
that wasn't the finals.
not the finals. You are 0-5 You are 0-5, and you have a new coach who's a rookie head coach, and he gets his first win in his career. But you are a veteran team, the Lakers. This is not Charlotte going and doing this. This is not even the Miami Heat going and doing this.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
There's no way that you can be Anthony Davis, LeBron James, letting this happen, or being the one leading the charge for it. I get that you want to support your guy. You know what? Take him to a steak dinner and do a stand-up discussion and have everybody talk about him and all that stuff. If that's what you want to do to make him feel good,
high five him.
Do not put it on camera.
Do you think that Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, if they got a rookie coach, Phil Jackson's first year, whatever, comes in, you think they would have done that?
No.
Hell no, they wouldn't have done that. Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar never would have done that for a rookie coach.
Or they might have done it, might not have been filmed. Because now there's cameras everywhere, so everything's being seen.
Of course.
It had to be one of the team. It had to be someone on the team. It wasn't just some random person that got in the locker room.
I'm not saying he didn't, but they didn't have, I don't think
Anthony Davis is running around like he's in Kentucky still and won the national championship.
And that's exactly it. Is
everything's out there. You can't. Everything gets put out there, so it all looks bad, anyways.
That move that tells me there's a bunch of people in that room that don't care.
Right.
They don't care about what the franchise looks like. They don't care about what their career looks like at this point. They've got their eyes and hands on other things. They're focused on other stuff.
Russell Westbrook clearly doesn't care.
Right?
I mean, that's clear.
Russ doesn't
that's clear
care.
as day.
LeBron's worried about being on, Thursday Night Football this week rather than playing games.
And he's worried about announcing himself as a Cowboys fan.
Right.
Which is
he's out,
such a clown move.
Doing stuff like that.
Stick with your team.
These guys are out there doing these things rather than focusing on the job at hand. I'll be honest with you. If I saw that happen, I'm a little cold. I'm a little cold when it comes to this.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have fired Ham the next day. I'd have fired him because that happened under his watch.
Right.
He didn't tell them to do that. He can't stop.
Doesn't matter.
So he gets fired for somebody else's actions?
Yeah, because he's letting his team not care. He's the guy that's not putting his foot down people and making things happen.
I'd be like,
I'm just saying, he's a rookie coach. This is me taking.
You can't be around Anthony Davis and LeBron and Westbrook and all of a sudden go in there and act like he can't overstep his boundaries.
If
right
you
away.
lose 2 in a row to start the season, you're
It's
damn
the
right.
NBA, there's 82 games.
I walk into that locker room and I shut the door and I go, "It's my turn to talk. I've let you guys talk the whole off season. It's my turn. My voice now. I drive the truck. It's my ship." I
keep all I can think about is
my point is
Kobe and Shaq.
These guys never would have let it happen.
Kobe would have been like looking at them like, dude, he would
rat Shaq out for something. That's what he did.
Kobe would have stared at him and been like, "What in the hell are you guys celebrating right now? What the hell are you doing?" And he would have made him do a practice after that.
It doesn't help what's going on there. And again, you've got a lot of younger teams that got some really nice players that are doing some really nice things, right? And that's awesome to see. It's great to see some changing of the guard, to hear some different names mentioned, to hear some different teams mentioned, and to see a guy like Maxey growing into kind of that Kawhi lore, right? Mm-hmm. Where he's starting to become mentioned like Kawhi and around Embiid and all this, right? That's really cool to see, and I think the NBA needs that. But stuff like this doesn't help the NBA. No. It doesn't help the NBA at all. It's not marketable. It makes their franchise less marketable. It makes the people that are haters fired up even more to talk smack.
Yeah.
Right? It does all these things. And at some point, like, if you're LeBron James, like, at some point, you've got to grow up. I don't know how else to put it.
He hasn't do anything wrong. Why are you guys blaming him?
I'll tell you why I'm blaming him on this.
He's not the only one on the team. I don't even see him in the picture doing anything.
He is. He's hugging Ham right at
so
the
he
end.
gives him a hug. He didn't pour the water and do anything. Don't put it all on LeBron or anything
what I'm
like
saying
that.
is,
if you're talking about the Nets being 1-5, yeah, they're built terrible. They're built with superstars.
Yes.
The Lakers are built terrible. They're built with superstars.
Right.
You told me at the beginning of the season that they're 1-1. I'd be like, yeah, okay. Kyrie Irving's a mess.
Of course.
Their teams are terrible. They got rookie coaches. Like, this is not shocking to me at all.
You can't be this bad and then go do stuff like this that aesthetically looks like this when you're a veteran-laden team.
But they're
terrible.
You're a young
team.
They don't even have any bench players that are good, the Lakers. They're terrible.
I know, but they don't think they're terrible.
It doesn't matter what they think or how they're perceived of what they do is what they're going to want to do. They don't really care what anybody's saying. But if you told me before the season, I told you both those teams are not going to be good. The Nets or the Lakers, I knew that. They couldn't even make the playoffs last year, did they? Lakers? Did they squeeze in or something?
No, they didn't.
Lakers didn't make it.
They made no different moves.
Nets should be better.
How?
The Nets should be
Ben
better.
Simmons sucks.
Well,
Kyrie Irving's a head case. He still thinks the Earth's flat.
And that's the exact problems is that you've got problems with those individual players, but on paper, those guys together should be fairly good. On paper.
Well, yeah, but this ain't paper. You got to play the game.
They got to play the game.
You've seen that before. The NBA, you can't watch the NBA for like the 40th game of the season.
And Golden says it's Pelinka.
Exactly.
He says it's Pelinka and not LeBron. And that's the point I wanted to get to is that then you got to start looking upwards.
Right.
And you got to start saying, okay, so I jokingly said, sure, I'd fire Ham. My point behind that is the guy that should go is Rob Pelinka.
Right.
Because this stuff can't happen. And I get and dislike the take or not, my point behind it is purely this, is that when you're a veteran team who won a championship recently, right? Whether it was COVID or whatever that someone wants to make it up for, it doesn't matter. They won a championship recently. You can't turn around and celebrate like this when you've had so much failure on the court.
You can't turn around and
that's culture.
Get Russell Westbrook.
It's culture.
He doesn't fit in with the team whatsoever.
Yeah, LeBron wanted him, though. LeBron is the one that went out and wanted Russell Westbrook.
I don't understand the whole situation that happens. And then the Nets are like, oh, we want to get Ben Simmons. Why? The guy airballs layups.
Well, you had Harden and mailed it in there, so they had to get rid of him. And the only way they were going to do it was to take that on. It's the only way that deal was going to happen. It's the only reason they got it.
That's why I'd rather watch the Cavs. I'm serious. I'd rather watch the Cavs. They're a great team.
Cavs are a great team to watch. They're fun.
I'd rather watch the Cavs. I'd rather watch the Thunder. I'd rather watch the Timberwolves. I'd rather watch the Magic. I'd rather watch. I'm a Magic fan.
Those teams you just mentioned, if they did that after winning their first game of the season, I would be like, okay, that's whatever.
Yeah, I don't even know. I guess it does look bad, but the
Lakers are a storied franchise.
But if I was like, oh, we have a rookie coach. We still have Westbrook. We have no bench. We have no cohesive. You told me they were 1-5 or 0-7. I'm like, yeah, okay, I knew it. There's nothing shocking that they're this bad. To them to do that, that looks bad.
Who did they beat? Nets. Who was the one they beat? Who was the team they beat?
Does anybody care? It's the NBA.
I would be embarrassed.
I would be embarrassed too. And they'll probably get ran out the gym next time they play.
Right.
That's
or they beat the Nuggets.
Back. Yeah.
They beat the 4-3 Nuggets.
Yeah.
Oh damn, that's actually pretty good team.
Yeah. There you go.
Nuggets are.
So they beat the Nuggets. They beat a.
You're calling them a bad team.
I know they're a bad team. I'm just saying, but that's why they celebrated. Maybe because they beat the Nuggets and they got happy and he won his first game.
Stop it.
They beat the back-to-back MVP. Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
They beat Jokic to back.
Stop it, David.
All right.
You guys,
I
should be more mad at them wasting water. We got a water shortage here.
If Jimmy was here, Jimmy would kick you out of the studio right now.
Jimmy would have walked out already.
Jimmy would have kicked you out of the studio and walked out himself.
He hates LeBron James. What did he do? He built a hospital. He built a school. What a piece of shit.
He probably charged people to.
That's it. Yeah, bet he does.
Was it Kanye's school? That's what I want to know.
There you go.
I can't believe you're still singing for LeBron James after he denounced the Cowboys as his favorite team, and now he's a Browns fan.
I'm not stinging up. It's just the problem is
you're 100% singing up for him.
Al King just said 77-5 Lakers inbound.
Yeah. So the problem is he does something, he gets so scrutinized. Everybody else does something, and it's like,
he does it.
Everybody
he does it to himself.
Rules
because he does it to himself.
They all did dumb ass stuff. All these Hall of Famers, and everybody triples down on LeBron and makes it so worse. It's ridiculous.
Don't get me wrong.
The whole league flops. 80s they flop.
People do beat on LeBron.
It's ridiculous
because he brings it on himself. He made an announcement on ESPN where he was going to play.
Kevin Durant has 7 burner phones. He doesn't even get as much as LeBron does. He got blamed for that.
He brings it on himself. Kevin Durant does get lit up on Twitter all the time.
Yeah, but I know. But you hear more about LeBron doing that than Durant hearing this or. Kyrie Irving's a nut job.
It's because Durant gets away with it for a long period of time. Then it comes out.
Did you bet LeBron to be MVP this year or something?
No, I didn't bet anything. It's just
he probably did.
Here's a picture of LeBron James jaywalking. Oh, what a piece of shit.
As of today, though, the guy that you should have picked for MVP was Lauri Markkanen. Guy's killing it starting the season.
Luka's MVP. It's not even
no,
close.
Luka's
a triple-double.
Luka's unreal.
Let's go, Luka.
Luka's so good.
Luka's really good. And
he's like what? Like point?
I'm
9 point something.
So disappointed.
Triple-double. He's ridiculous.
So disappointed.
I like Spencer Dinwiddie when he went
Donovan Mitchell did not end up there with Luka because that would have been unreal. Huge. I really wish that would happen and it didn't. Steve Hodge, thank you for congratulating us on catching the scumbags. Fill you guys in a little bit what happened. So last Wednesday, we got tipped off here at Game Day that the people that broke in and stole cards from the shop were looking to sell them. So we attended the sell. And we strategically did it, and the story is really funny. But we went over, and a couple of us met with the guy. He offered for us to go into a restaurant. We went into the restaurant. We were able to get him to sit in the back of the restaurant with one way out. Then the rest of our team kind of came in and sat in the restaurant and then around the restaurant. And once we identified that this was the guy, and it didn't take us long. In fact, it took us all of about 30 seconds because the guy wore a dark blue, light blue striped T-shirt or sweatshirt.
The same Blue's Clues sweatshirt that he had on.
And he borrowed it from Steve from Blue's Clues.
Yeah.
And
I mean, like, this is like
same
World's Dumbest Criminals. I thought that was like a fake show. No, it's real. These guys are idiots.
He comes walking up with the same sweatshirt on, and I'm just like, I looked down because I was part of the people that initially talked to him, and I just looked down and I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. And so we got him in there. Cop came around, chased him. The video's up on YouTube if you want to see it. It's also on our TikTok. You guys can see it. He ran from the police, ran right into his arms, and then gets handcuffed. We're walking back. It's getting put in the cruiser. Okay, gig's over. Nope. He shimmies for a second, takes off running with his hands cuffed behind. It's the greatest run I ever saw.
That's never going to end good.
Because your arms don't move.
Because if you trip, you're nowhere to catch yourself.
Yeah, which he did. Dude. Which
his
he did.
Head broke his fall when he cop pushed him. Yeah.
So as the cop grabbed him, he tripped, he fell. The cop took quite the brunt of it. Turns out he's a fan of the program. Mm-hmm. He is a Whatnot customer with us here at Game Day.
Really?
Our arresting officer was.
Nice.
So shout out to Comma P.
Nice.
He arrested him. Dude, he ripped his shirt.
Yeah.
Dude was the officer was pretty tore up. We were there for a while. We were able to get some of our stuff back. We didn't get everything, so just so you guys are aware. And we'll find out more hopefully in the next coming weeks. We would assume that this guy's probably going to turn on his buddies if he's not that smart to play it safe as he did.
They got his phone.
He's going to have to roll on those guys.
So they got his phone. And
they'll be able to find out.
They're definitely going to get information about them. But we were able to do that. It was very funny. I don't know that we could have written a script to have that happen the way that it did, and to have it be executed as well as we did. As our team, and I'm just going to throw that out there, our team as a whole, straight up executed. And I jokingly walked around and said I'm giving myself an Oscar. But, dude, I'm going to give one to Hoodie. Hoodie played this innocent bystander role, that he wasn't supposed to be there until it was, go time, to a T. Brian played his part to a T. And then Jimmy, which, Jimmy is pretty hands-on and aggressive and everything. Jimmy pumped the brakes and stood back and let everything fall into place. And then got the officer there in a fair amount of time. We were able to get it all together. You couldn't have wrote this thing as a script to make it any better. But we did. It was good. I'll tell you what it was for us, because as a team, I think we were all, let's be fair, last Thursday, Friday, Friday morning, Saturday, it was pretty somber around here.
I'm just tired of making 911 calls. It sucks.
Right.
It's just somber, just so abrupt.
Right?
You're just sitting there, you're at home, and all of a sudden I get a notification, and I'm like, the first notification is guy breaking the window again, and you're just like, I live 2 minutes away, so I'm trying to call 911. You're going, you just get built up, and you're so pissed off, again, here we go. And then they just cause more damage than they take anything.
Yeah. Right. So, we're kind of down. So to have that moment as a team, for us to all circle it together and make it happen, and be able to at least look at it and be like, hey, we did our part. Because had we not done that, we may still not have anything, any
Right.
action taken because of how the system works. The system works against you as a small business, unfortunately.
The card community is great, though.
But that's what I wanted to say was the card community itself is how this happened. This came together because of the card community, because of you guys sharing, you guys getting involved, you guys voicing, you guys talking, you guys telling people about it. And so thank you very much. Shout out to the collector who helped us take this guy down, because he really went up and beyond what he needed to do. He wanted to attend the buy. He wanted to be involved. He was completely on it from the start to the finish. And he had no dog in the fight. None at all. I'll tell you what he did, though. He made a bunch of friends here.
Yeah.
He made a bunch of friends here because we highly respect him, and we'll always do that, So anyways, we did get the guy. That was kind of fun. We'll see what happens with his buddies. So thank you again, though, for your comments, Steve. And, it's kind of an exciting moment.
Love it.
Guys, happy Halloween. Have a safe and happy holiday night. Remember, check your kids' candy. That's no
Make
matter
sure
where
you're
you're
not eating
at,
gummies or anything
should
out
always
there.
see it. And that is something that you do have to watch out for,
All the
is
time.
that part of it as well. So just, be a little more diligent on what you're doing there. In our neighborhood, if you're in Las Vegas, your gated community neighborhoods are a really good opportunity to go to quality houses. That's usually because, that's kind of a real safe neighborhood. So that's always a good play. I know that Lamplighter up in the Northwest is incredibly good for trick-or-treating because of that. But you guys have fun. I'm going to go spend some time with the kids and take them trick-or-treating tonight. And excited to do it. Godfather's gone for a week. May or may not be back next Monday. If he's not back, we'll ask the Warden to come join us again. It's good to have you on, Dave. We appreciate it. Yeah, it's fun. I like having it.
Now I know why Jimmy gets all riled up. I get it. I feel for you, Jimmy. I get it.
It's usually me getting riled up, so it's good to get you riled up.
I get it. I get it now.
It's so good. Guys, thank you so much. If we can do anything for you, let us know. Jay, take us out.
Let's go monster hunting.
Let's go.
Let's go.